Good morning, everybody, and here we are. We've come back out to Great Hockha today because unfortunately they've closed the B1108, the far side of Watton, to the 1065, which is just, I don't know if anybody else is finding this, but the number of road closures currently in Norfolk is just getting a bit silly. I mean, I live on a little estate in Toftwood, and literally every single road that I would take either to get to the A47 or the A1075 on the estate is currently either closed or has temporary lights on it. And it's just, it's getting to the point where you can't actually get anywhere. You know, you're having to figure in 10, 15, 20-minute delays on temporary lights that are being left there for a week and a half, 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks after they're supposed to be done and dusted. The whole thing just really does seem to be, for want of a better description, spectacularly half-arsed. Norfolk County Council really do not seem to have a clue what on earth they're doing. And it's kind of really getting out of hand now. You're getting major roads that are being closed down for weeks at a time. And it's for no apparent reason, or my personal pet peeve, it's so that developers can work on new housing estates for which they shouldn't have got planning permission in the first place because the infrastructure isn't there to support them. But yeah, it's starting to become very frustrating, as I'm sure you can probably tell from my tone of voice. I'm not wildly impressed with this turn of events, but you know what? It's like, what can you do? What can you do about it? It's all a bit ridiculous, but never mind. Anyway, we are here at Great Hockha. We currently have 8 of our canine companions with us today. We have, down at the front, we have Minnie Vinnie. We have Ariel, we have Willow, we have Pip, we have Bella, we have Max, we have Mabel, we have Burbsy Nerb. And I think that's everyone, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's 8. So yeah, we have a happy little band with us today. At some point I'm going to film what I like to refer to as the Moochmobile chorus when we actually get to where we're going to walk. A particular favourite is Pippa's falsetto. It's horrible. Honestly, you want to pull your ears off. But they all get very excited when they arrive, and then there's lots of howling and yelping and barking and throwing themselves at the doors and, stuff like that. But yes, fun and games. So we're going to do another little intro for another one of the dogs today. So I kind of figured we've done my 2, and I think we did Vinny last week, didn't we? So this week I'm going to start with Princess Pip up there on the right, the one that looks like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth. Although, to be fair, if you put anything anywhere near Pippa's mouth, you'll be lucky to get it back. She is chief snack scrounger. But yes, I think I started walking Pip. It's got to be close to 3 years ago now. Probably it might actually be 3 years ago. And that's because her owners work at a place that is near me, and very considerately, their employers allows people to bring their dogs in. So yes, you kind of go in there, and it's very much doggy office. And they wanted Pip to be taken out for a wander. So on Monday to Thursday, Pippa joins us for a big old mooch. Now, as you can see, she's beautiful. Actually, Pippa is an absolutely gorgeous looking dog. She's very, very pretty. And she's funny. She's very funny. But she's very much the centre of her family, and dear Lord, doesn't she know it? There are definitely times when you get the air of injured innocence, and you can't do that to me. I'm Pippa. And she's she's funny. When we first started walking Pippa, we had some issues surrounding Pippa and Max. Not because Max ever did anything to Pippa. Max, to the best of my knowledge, has never done anything to anybody particularly. However, Pippa, she still isn't wildly enthused with Max. She tolerates him far better than she used to. But yes, Pippa would basically run away from Max. The thing is what Pippa likes to do is Pippa is an instigator, shall we say. And she loves to play, and she's very, very vocal. So what happens is, come on, Pippa basically will kind of run around lots of the other dogs, and she'll dive bomb them, kind of run at them, and kind of she'll make this terrible, awful, growly noise and lots of barking. And basically, what she's doing is she's trying to instigate play with the other dogs, because she must be 4 now, Pip. But she's still very playful. She still likes to play with the other dogs. And a lot of the other dogs are kind of like, whatever, and kind of ignore her. Or in Willow's case, Willow will chase after her, and kind of once she's had enough, she'll chase after Pippa with every intention of giving her the good news. However, 9 times out of 10, she can't catch her. However, when this is done to Pippa, it's a no-no. Yes, whilst Pippa is very happy to dive bomb everybody else, anybody who dive bombs Pippa is persona non grata immediately. And Max, obviously, Pippa kind of bounced around, and Max saw Pippa bouncing around. Oh, she wants to play. So he went over to play with her, and it turned out that Pippa did want to play, just not with Max. And we would get just the most ridiculous performance, the most unbelievable song and dance, where there was all sorts of howling and throwing herself around and trying to stay out of Max's way. And she'd do this, what I used to like to call the Pippa sneaky beaky thing, where basically she would hang right off the back of the group, as far off the back of the group as she could, whilst still remaining in sight. This way. Vinny, this way. And she would quite literally sneak from tree to tree, trying to avoid Max. And if Max went back there to see what she was doing, she would disappear into the woods and then reappear somewhere else again, where she would do the sneaky beaky thing in front of you. And the whole thing was basically would revolve around how much she didn't want to be anywhere near Max. Which to be honest, as an objective observer, was very funny to watch. Very funny to watch, because it was a classic example of, well, she can dish it out, but she can't take it. However, as you can see, over time that has faded now. Excellent bum scrape, Pippa. Well done. You do that. Yep. Good girl. Yeah, so there's kind of there's been a calming of that over the last sort of 18 months or so, maybe a little longer. But yeah, every now and again Max will kind of bound up to say hello, and Pippa will reenact the sneaky beaky tactics, and it's very, very funny to watch. But it just goes to show that they have the similar dynamics to us, in that they are social animals and they operate as a group. As you can see, these guys are all quite happily kind of, wandering around as a group, and over time, if they needed to, they would learn to hunt as a group. But within that group, different dogs do different things, and different dogs have different levels of, dare I say, affection for other dogs within the group. As I've mentioned before, Willow just is kind of meh about pretty much everyone, including Ariel most of the time, to be honest with you. Willow is very much her own pooch. Max very, very much likes to kind of be on good terms with everyone and wants to be everyone's friend. Bella is quite suspicious of other dogs and will make a big fuss when she first meets them. So they all have their own dynamics within the group itself, as to how much time they like to spend around one another. I mean, Ariel just isn't bothered by anyone, really. It's not that she doesn't like them. Once she's out here, she's just not bothered. She'll wander along with anyone, rub along with anyone. Mabel has a real fondness for Bobby, and at times likes to play, and other times is more reserved. But yeah, they all really do have their own little niche in the gang, and it's quite interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch when a new dog joins, and it's also interesting when you mix groups up, because obviously they get into a routine. Today is Monday. Dog XYZ ABC is out on Monday. So, but then you introduce dogs F and G, and all of a sudden that dynamic changes. And you can see it change. Sometimes it's not, hugely obvious, but you do see it. So it's very interesting to watch. Very interesting to watch. But anyway, I've whittled on for quite long enough, as I do. So this is it for Monday. Just the one walk today. So I will return on the morrow, where I believe we have 2 walks, morning and afternoon. So I will return on the morrow and regale you with further doggy tales, and we'll have another little intro. I'm not sure who we'll do yet, but we'll have another little intro. I'm just wondering if the pigs are going to show up in the woods again, because we've had pigs down here a couple of times recently, but they weren't here the last time. So yeah, and usually they've shown their face right now, because they seem to have a particular liking for Max. Quite a novel experience for Max, because they were both bigger than him, and it's not often that happens. But anyway, yeah, we'll leave it for there, and have a very, very pleasant Monday evening, and we'll catch up with you soon. And don't forget to mooch on. Cheery bye.